know how vexing it is to be a cynical, jaded person like I am? I literally went out of my way to create a YouTube channel just so I could vent about a film I fucking loathe. So without further ado, and much to my dismay, and having to dredge up this god awful piece of shit film out of the recesses of my mind, I introduce you to Chicken Run Dawn of the Nuggets. Watching this film, you'd probably consider it an innocuous children's film that shouldn't be taken seriously. But believe me, I think it goes deeper than just some meaningless fodder. So, allow me to quit my bitching and finally get into the real meat of this fucking film and why I hate it. Molly. Motherfucking Molly. This little bitch angered me every single time I saw this bitch on screen. Allow me to air out my personal grievances with her character. Ahem. Number one, she's a dumbass in distress. She talks up a big storm about how fucking brave she is, and how she's gonna take on the world, and then in the first 10 minutes of the film, she gets herself kidnapped. Seriously, what a dickhead. Number two, she's a stuck up bitch. She acts as though staying on the fucking island like she's told to by her parents is pure torture because she's a free spirit that can't be contained. I suppose the film is trying to draw comparisons between her and her mother Ginger, who in the original Chicken Run was also considered adventurous and wanted to be let out of her cage. But the fact is, Ginger was indeed a prisoner because all of those goddamn chickens were on one giant chicken farm that were all going to be eventually eaten one day. There is a vast disparity between Ginger's circumstances and that of her daughters. And the fact that the film is trying to draw this comparison without, and just completely ignores that kind of, difference between the two bitches' circumstances is pretty jarring because it kind of brings it up, repeatedly throughout the fucking film. And I just really can't help but feel irked out by it. I mean, come on. Ginger basically went through the chicken equivalent of the Holocaust, and Molly is just fed up with living on a beautiful, tranquil island because she thinks that the outside world is, going to be more luscious than what she already has? I mean, she's just a fucking idiot. Number three, she's a know-it-all little bitch. Many times, Ginger warns her of the dangers of mankind and how they should stay away from them, and rightfully so. I mean, she went through a lot in the first film. But Molly continues to ignore her mother's warnings and goes out into the world to pursue adventure, and her mother is completely right. She should have stayed right the fuck where she was, and this whole film could have been avoided. But no, Molly simply cannot be obedient because free spirit and all, and I'm a brave girl. Listen, I just couldn't stand this little bitch, okay? Because there was a point in this film when Ginger finally is reunited with her daughter once they are at the chicken factory, and at that point, Molly still hasn't learned her goddamn lesson about, hey, perhaps Mom is right. Perhaps I should learn the limitations of my ambition and just stay put, right? And just so I can make a responsible decision, right? And listen to my goddamn mother. But no, she's still like, Mom, you can't tell me what to do because blah, 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 and whatever. I mean, I just feel like it's such a disservice to Ginger's character that she just has to constantly lecture this little bitch who's just ungrateful for her mother's, constant care and protection of her. Because, yes, maybe Ginger is sheltering her from the true barbaric, world, and isn't telling her the full truth of, what it all is like, the world and such. Because she's experienced it, right? Life outside of the island. But if Ginger had taken the time to actually explain what she went through during her past life, then maybe Molly wouldn't be so goddamn stubborn and irritating about just staying outside in the world. But I don't know. I mean, she just acts like she is just like this wise, like, oracle, and that everything she says and states is just pure gospel or something. I don't know. Like, I think you should listen to your goddamn mom, who's way more experienced in how to handling shit because, well, she is an adult. I don't know. I'm probably going off on a tangent here, but I just couldn't help but notice this in the film. She's just purely obnoxious and just acts as though she is just so goddamn enlightened. Bitch, you managed to get yourself kidnapped so damn quickly. In fact, I'm not even sure if it's in like the first 10 minutes of the film. I think it's like the first 5 minutes of the film. This bitch has managed to like get herself to a chicken factory where she's going to be goddamn like slaughtered if family doesn't do anything to stop it. I don't know. I can't stand her. Period. I'm gonna move on. Anyway, aside from Molly's god awful character, I just think that my other personal gripes with this film mainly just sort of relegated to its writing and total character assassinations of Ginger and Rocky, but also it has very muddled messaging. Frankly, this movie just lacks the warmth and comfort of the first film, and it's nowhere near as funny as it. And also, why are Ginger and Rocky's characters basically reduced to nagging parents who just constantly try and warn their daughter Molly of the dangers of mankind, but yet never think to use their past as an example of why humans are dangerous? I mean, they had near-death experiences with Mrs. Tweedy. I mean, that bitch was fucking crazy. And she even features in this film as its antagonist, which really makes no sense because that bitch was so obviously killed by her husband at the end of Chicken Run. I mean, Jesus. He pushed a wall on her. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of a huge continuity error. But, I digress. Frankly, I just don't understand what this film is trying to say. I mean, I think at the end of, near the end, like, well, basically the third act of this film, right? Ginger and Molly, they try and have a heart-to-heart about how both of those characters were wrong in some way. Molly tries to fess up to her, mistakes of just simply not listening to her mother. But, it feels a little too late to be saying that shit. And then Ginger proceeds to say, well, I shouldn't have kept you inside the island and warned and sort of just telling you to stay put. I should have just let you embrace your inner spirit and go on many fucking adventures as you damn well please. Basically enabling this kind of shit. And I was just internally growing and groaning and just thinking, God almighty, please, have you bitches not learned your damn lesson? I think communication is key in relationships, and so I think if you had both shared each other's difficulties with coming to terms with, well, your perspective on mankind, then maybe you could have formed an understanding and then none of this shit would happen again. Wouldn't that have been a goddamn dream? But no, we just have to have this long, convoluted, tedious shit that I was just begging for it to be over at this point. I mean, I had no patience for it. I was just thinking, are you seriously telling me that Ginger should be apologizing to Molly right now because, what? She didn't let her go on many adventures as she damn well pleased. I mean, for fuck's sakes. Ginger was totally being reasonable for not letting Molly go and explore shit. I mean, she had her goddamn reasons. Problem is, she should have told Molly these reasons. But whatever. This film is over, and I never have to watch it again, and most likely most people won't watch this fucking video because it's just filled with errors. I mean, this audio, you know, pretty lazy editing and for the most part just sort of incoherent rambling. But I needed it for my soul. So, Happy New Year and stay safe. Bye.